And there you have it. Hey! Welcome to another exciting edition of Faulkner Fixes All. And today, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get rid of the burned up stuff that I burned up with the torch and put in the new stuff. So let's get to it. I make the mistakes so you don't have to. And let me tell you, I make a lot of mistakes. The first mistake was buying this frame on eBay thinking it was a Stingray. Yes, these Stingray bikes do have the chrome cover here, and the Hollywood and Bantam bikes for 1970 don't have this. So that's the first clue. But there's other clues too. We've gone through this before. Let's not rehash the bad memories. Okay, so yeah, I just burned all the chrome up on this. Obviously, that's no good. And let's take this out. And today we're just going to get the new parts in so this can be off the stand for a while. I got this big metal railing job coming in. Well, it's already here, sitting out there, all the steel. And I kind of need this room. That's the story, that's the way it goes. So we're going to try to make this kind of a roller, you know, that'll stand up on its own. Okay, we'll just put this over here for a second. We got to pound these out. This one I am going to pound out. I've got a better one. Okay, and to pound these out, I usually use a good 1/2-inch extension that's not like anything you're worried about, like if this was Snap-on or Craftsman. This is just an old Montgomery Ward's Mastercraft of some sort. Speed Master, I don't know what this is, but it has a good sharp edge. Some of these don't have a sharp edge, but this one's got the sharp edge. And we're going to hit it with this because then, you know, you want to try to save on that if you do use it in the correct manner as a extension for 1/2-inch drive. So we'll put it in here. And we're going to get rid of this rusty bottom one first. Oh, that came out way too easy. Yeah, that one's pretty bad. Not only is the finish completely hammered, but you can see the brittling in there. We're gonna make it right though. We're gonna put something else in it. All right, so let's get rid of this top one. This has seen some heat, so this might just fly out of here as well. I'm gonna put this in and catch the edge. So what you're doing is pretend this is still in the bore. You're just putting it in at an angle and catching one edge, and then you move to the other edge. Boom, 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 boom. And it flies across the shop and makes a most distinctive ringing sound. That's how you know it's a good piece, when it hits the ground and rings. It rings true. Yeah, sometimes I don't want them to fall on the ground, but they usually do. Okay, so here we go. Is it coming? Oh yeah, it's coming. Maybe we can catch it. Let's try to catch it. Okay, I'm going to try to catch it. Yeah. Okay. I think I was able to catch one of those once in my life. It fell on my shirt or something. Anyway, this one's okay on the bearing. Nah, it's not that great either, actually. I can see. I don't know if the camera's picking that up, but there's some rusty spots in there. It would have been okay, but the finish isn't great either. So we're gonna put some good ones in. Oh yeah, let's wipe that out. Yeah, the torch did a number on the paint here. The paint fared okay. You can see it got a little torchy up in here. It's not too bad. I think with the new race in there, it'll be good. So this is what we got over here. These are the old races here. Let's just put those aside. The burnt up stuff. And we got some nice cones. And then we'll go over some of this. I think I'm going to use these bearings. The cages are a bit rusty. I think if I popped all these bearings out, chucked them, and put new bearings in, which I have, we could soak these cages a little better. And that's for another bike, but these turned out really good. And this isn't stamped with Schwinn, but I know it is. Only Schwinn makes parts like that. And this is the old one that the chrome is burned off of. And it's a little worn. I could use this, but I got a better one. I got a pretty good one of these. And I've got 2 of these washers to use. I'm only going to use one, but I'll show you. What happens is some unsuspecting person uses a non-Schwinn headset bolt nut. And when you do that, see, the Schwinn has that little space there. They thought about it. That little groove there to keep that hex part off of the washer. So when your unsuspecting person uses one of these, which is not Schwinn, and it puts these little dents in it. Let's go out here so you guys can see. That's why I always file these. You start filing them, and then you come up with, oh, there's little spots on there. Oh, that's a problem. And what happens is, if this washer isn't nice and whammy and smooth, you know, take your time. File it up. Run it on this paper, sandpaper. Yeah, you're ruining the zinc plating, but you know what? That's better than ruining the fork. What happens is, especially if you're using a non-Schwinn part, it catches the washer and it spins, and it comes out of that notch, and it spins around, and it ruins the thread on the forks. So, you know, this is a crucial part. Make sure you get this right. In fact, we're not even going to take a chance on this one with the notches. We're going to use this better, nicer one. And yes, we did ruin the zinc plating by filing it, but that's life. You guys just send me a bunch of brand new old stock washers and I'll use them. Yeah, okay. Another person familiar with the channel, he kind of said, hey, when are you going to put motors on all those bikes? Hey, when are you going to, donate about 50 grand to get motors for 100 Schwinns and I'll put them on? No, it wasn't my buddy with the electric motors. It was this other clown that thought that I should buy a bunch of gas engines and, put some 180cc Predator engines on these bikes. Not going to happen. Yeah, okay, so let's get back to work here. Let's pound these in. Come on, let's go. Jabberjaw, jabberjaw. Okay, jabberjaw. Okay, so we're always going to use the best one on the bottom because that's the one most visible. And I think the best one is probably that one. Although this one looks a little shinier. Let's put this one on the bottom. Okay, I don't see any gap there. That's good. Check out my gray hair. That's in there. It's in the movie. Okay, and if you do have one that's slightly less shiny or rusty a little bit, which this one isn't, but I'll show you what you would do. Say there was, more rust on this side, on the top, so you would hide that rust towards the handlebars. And then when you're looking at the front of the bike, it would be the shiniest spot. Well, actually, this one's really bad, but like hide the rust that way. That way, when you're looking at the front of the bike, especially if you've burned it up with a torch, it looks better. Okay, but we got this one, it's nice. Okay, Jabberjaw, let's go. You guys there? Yes, you are. Oh, that feels great on the hand. It's in the movie. Okay, I don't see any air gaps there. I'm looking for gaps in between this and the frame, and it looks good. I don't see anything happening. You can kind of tell by the sound, too. All right, let's put some grease and cones. Oh, but before we do that,
we got to wire brush that a little bit, and we got to get this old race off of here. Oh God, why didn't I prep that? Oh, well, you guys love seeing me do dirty work anyway. Okay, let's just move this to the side. Take that piece of junk out. Oh, that's the one I burned up. Yeah, okay, that's the toasty one. I don't know what this one was from, but it's obviously the chrome was bad. Okay, these bearings are totally toast, and this race is completely hammered. Let's show you how to get that off. And since this doesn't have the chrome cover, that's the way it goes. You know, we'll just take it off. And to do that, and we're really not worried about the race, so to do that, hammer, chisel, set it down, catch the edge of the race. It's not a show bike. It doesn't even have the piece of chrome. We're just going to whack it off. Well, gently tap it off. Gently tap it off. There you go. Words. Okay. There we go. Okay, and this one's kind of odd. Notice this. Sometimes you get these double knurling marks. Very strange. I've taken some parts off of a fork previously, and this double knurling was up here, like they started to do it, and then they moved it down there. I'm not quite sure. Maybe that's what holds it in the holder when it's made. I'm not sure about that. I haven't seen that on all of them, but some of them. Let's wipe that off. And let's pick one of these that I cleaned up. I think today's flavor is going to be this one if it fits right. Oh yeah, it's going to fit beautiful. I see a little air right there. Of course, this is not the way to do it. I make the mistake so you don't have to. Jesus, there's a lot of rust coming out of there. Holy moly. Holy wow, look at all that stuff that came out of there. Yeah, let's blow this out real quick. Yeah. That's a lot. I think the compressor has a little bit of juice left in it. All right, let's see what comes out of this. I have my suspicions. You guys ready? Oh yeah. All right, we're gonna wire brush that a little bit. Yay! Rust everywhere, I love it. Rust never sleeps. All right, let's get a big wire brush. I do have a wire wheel, I just have never set it up. I have this grinder with a wire wheel, brand new in the box, and I don't know, space is such a premium out here. I just never really set it up. It would take quite a bit of space, you know, requirement for that to be a permanent fixture in the shop. And I'm really thinking about it lately. It comes in handy when you're working on cars, and you got to have clean threads for stuff, you know. And doing it with this is okay, but it doesn't really get them super clean. Not like a wire wheel. And then I could put a buffer pad on it too, and buff up some brake bars and buff up some aluminum parts with the right stuff. But yeah, let's just make sure before we do this, let's make sure a Schwinn style. Oh yeah, we're good. Okay, so that's ready. It's got a nice good race on it. I don't see any air right here. I don't see an air gap. There is no chrome cover on this. It is not a stingray. Remember? Yeah, it's not a stingray. Okay. let's put some grease in the cones and throw this thing in. We got stuff to do. Jabba jaw, jabba jabba jaw. Okay. Yeah, we got to get this off the stand, and the stand has to go somewhere else for a few days. Yeah, I'm back into metal mode. I have to actually, someday I'll just work on bikes all the time. But for now, we live in the real world. Okay, we got grease there. And we'll put a little dab on here too. And here's the bearing, one of the nice clean bearings. And that goes like that. You can see the top is the top. It says Schwinn on it, usually stamped somewhere. I don't see this one. Yeah, it's slightly stamped. Okay, just kind of make sure that's okay. You're good. We got grease in there. And we'll go ahead and put this top bearing in. And it goes in like that. And put some of that excess grease, swirl it around on top, because we like a mess. And we'll put some grease on these threads, because we can. And we'll put some grease on there. Although, usually I skip that part, putting the grease on there, because when you shove it through there, it's almost impossible not to get grease on this part. So you could skip that, but I always put some on there. Okay. Or I don't know. Depends on how I feel. Okay. And there's all that nice grease. And there's the Schwinn adjuster, which isn't burned up. We're having a problem. We'll go backwards. There's the click, see? I went backwards, heard the click. Boom. Bob's your uncle. It's in. It's in the movie. Yeah, we got to get this off the stand. I have real life stuff to do. Although this channel is real life, it's real. All right. Let's wipe a little of this goo off of here. Looking better already. Feels better. Wow, it feels great. Yeah. All right, let's get the washer. And we got the washer, the one that isn't all galled up. I cleaned it very well. And there's the Schwinn top piece I'm going to use. It's in pretty good shape. Let's wipe some of this. Let's get some fresh grease for that. That I do put grease. Grease is your friend. Put some in there, dab it around. Although there's plenty on there. I'm just making sure. Spread some on this too. You want this to slide really nice. You want that notch to go in where it's supposed to go. It's usually towards the back. On some years, they did cut the notch different. They cut it on the side. But on most years, it goes to the back. Okay. Oh yeah, that feels really good, folks. And it looks a lot better, I must say. It's a little singy. There's a little burning, but I'd say that would look a lot better. Okay. Let's use our... back this off, make it a little looser than necessary. And then tighten that up. Now we'll put the final tighten on this later when I get some bars in here. But for now, it feels great. It looks good. It feels good. For now, we're okay. Let's put the fender on and the wheel and shove it off the stand. Because we got stuff to do, unfortunately, in the real world. Oh yeah, and this is the wrong bolt. When I got this bike, the bolt was broken off. So I had to drill it out and tap it 1/4 and use this big washer. The only reason I'm using the big washer is because there's a pretty big hole here. And somebody sprayed silver primer I'm not getting why they sprayed the underneath silver over the rust. Yeah, you know, it's just one of those things. Things happen. This fender didn't come with the bike, so it's just a fender I had. I think I got this from some cycling place. Okay, let's put a snug on that, put the wheel on and kick it down. We actually have stuff to do out here besides working on bikes. I know, I keep saying that, but that's the way it is. I should probably have a socket for this. It would take me, what, 20 seconds to go get a socket? Oh no, we're just going to keep using this. We're going to keep using this wrench, it's fine. Okay, that's good enough for now. We'll throw the wheel on it. We'll put the bars in it. We'll kick it to the side. This wheel does have a broken spoke. I'm aware of it. Do not worry. I'm aware. It needs to be repacked badly. And the bearings are dry. And it's missing a jam nut on this other side. This is just to roll it around. I'm aware of these facts. Don't worry. It does have the wheel locks for this year. Pretty cool. I always thought that was a pretty cool Schwinn thing. They have this little conical thing. If you don't drop it on the floor, it's shaped like a little cone, and it goes in this slot here. And even if your wheel loosens up, it kind of stays in there. It was a good safety feature in the 70s. You know, kids throwing their bike back together and not putting the correct torque on the front wheel. Or you don't have a jam nut like you're supposed to. Anyway, things happen. Let's just pop this on. We know this isn't right for now. This is just a temporary get it off the stand kind of thing. We got work to do. I know. And I like to put a washer, but these don't really need it. On some bikes, they don't have that big flat edge on there with the serrations. And if they don't, I like to put a washer there in between the conical wheel saver safety thing and the fender brace. Like you'd put the washer on now before you put this on. It just kind of saves the fender brace a little bit. If you don't have that style bolt like we do now. So it's okay, we'll let it slide this time. All right, let's tighten it up real quick. Okay, it's not cool because the cone is too tight, but we know we're missing a jam nut. We are aware of these things. Let's see if we can back it off a little. Yeah, we need a jam nut on there. We need to repack that. We need to replace the spoke. Let's throw the bars in and set this off to the side. This is the wrong stem. This is a varsity stem or a suburban stem. We are aware of this. Okay, we now have a Stingray wannabe that's further along. And how'd we do? We did pretty good, folks. We did well. it's further along. The cones and adjusters, that's not burnt now. The bearings feel good. Of course, there is no chrome piece there. It's not a Stingray, technically. And here's what I got for here. And unfortunately, somebody at eBay was trying to scam. Imagine that, a scammer. Anyway, I bought this pair of cranks. They're dated 68, which isn't too bad. I mean, that's a 70. And I don't really need these bearings, but these adjusters are nice. Oh, they threw in an extra, look at that. They threw in an extra pinch bolt. Huh. Anyway, that's the cone that holds the gear on. This is the adjuster. It's seen better days. I looked at the pictures very carefully. But in the pictures, there was a gear on here that was 36 tooth, correct, for this here bike. It was a 36 tooth. They call it a Lucky 7. I don't have one here to show you. But, so, they didn't send it. Yeah, I'm not going to leave bad feedback. That's not my deal. I let them know, and they're popping it out to me. They just said they left it on the workbench. Anyway, we can't put these in yet. Obviously, I can't put these on with no gear, and it has to be that small gear because it's such a small frame. Anyway, so yeah, we're trying to make it work. And what else was I going to say? Yeah, everything's well. We'll get to these soon. A subscriber has a bike for me to pick up. You know who you are. You're contributing to the delinquents of a Schwinn collector. Anyway, I got to go pick up this bike, and when I do, it's pretty cool. It's from the 30s. It's definitely from the 30s. You know, boys frame from the 30s. I think it's called an Aggie's Wolf. And skip tooth, 30s. You know, going to be a lot of torch work on that bike. When you get bikes that old, you're doing a lot of torch work. Hey, thanks for tuning in. Think about becoming a paid subscriber. You know, for a couple bucks a month, you can keep some of these bikes out of the junkyard, being crunched for scrap, you know. And the next video, I'll probably have some of this steel in here that's out there in here. Don't worry, I know you're watching, people that want those rails. I'm working on it. You can see I'm working on the welding right now, right? Have a good day, folks. Keep it positive. We're going to be doing fine.